Nothing was being said in the first 2 weeks that I didn't know. But when we started talking about why did Jesus die for you, I think it started to kind of break through to me a little bit and started to mean something. And then when it came time for the retreat, I didn't know what to expect at the retreat. And I was listening to Phil talk about the prodigal son, and it just broke me. I listened to him, and it just started me to cry. And I don't know why, other than I just didn't have a good relationship with my dad. So when Phil talked about God loving us much more than our parents could, and the relationship that it would be, it tore into me and broke me. I asked Phil to pray with me that night, and he did. And we talked more about the prodigal son, and I felt that level of forgiveness that I'd been searching for many, many years. And it just felt good.
In more than 165 countries around the world, the Alpha Course is giving people an opportunity to explore the validity and relevance of God. This 10-week introduction to the Christian faith centers on a weekly meal, a talk, and a small group discussion, and it's being used as a tool to share the gospel in a non-threatening way that builds relationships.
People go through Alpha and they have a life-transforming experience. They're filled with the Holy Spirit. They begin by taking part in the next Alpha with us, working as helpers and then leaders. They go on to be small group leaders in the church. It's infectious because once they become excited about their relationship with God, they're not just involved in Alpha. They take other ministries of the church, our other outreaches, and they just begin to explode.
Alpha is more than a program. It's about people coming to Jesus Christ, being filled with the Spirit, getting excited about Jesus, and spending the rest of their lives serving Him. And therefore it's about churches growing, churches being filled, churches being transformed by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Hundreds and hundreds of people come through the Alpha Course here every year. A lot of those people point to the Alpha Course as that was the time, that was the beginning, that was where it all started. My spiritual journey really started to ramp up because of the Alpha Course.
People from all walks of life come to Alpha in search of hope and purpose, and the course becomes the catalyst that God uses to ignite or revitalize their faith. They meet other people on the same quest, many of whom they never would have crossed paths with, but now they're connected together by their shared journey to find God.
Leading a table and watching somebody's life transform in a matter of 10 weeks is the greatest blessing I have ever experienced. That, just one person coming to Christ and watching that happen and knowing that you had this tiny little part to play in the work of Jesus' ministry is what makes it all worthwhile.
It doesn't really require a high or sophisticated level of leadership. What it requires is the humility to have a conversation and the courage to be open to the other end of that dialogue with seekers. It does require that. And it requires hospitality and kind of a generosity of spirit that says to people who are on a spiritual journey, it's okay for you to be where you are, and we're with you in that through this conversation.
You can't change relationship, and you can't change the experience of connecting with the creator of the universe. And so what Alpha does for me, and I think what it provides for my generation, is a platform of relationship.
As relationships grow during Alpha, and as God begins to work, lives start to change. Educated at MIT, with a job in the hedge fund industry, Johnny Hom appeared to have his life together, but actually his marriage was in trouble and he was hiding an addiction to drugs and pornography. Johnny heard about the Alpha Course from a friend, and he was encouraged to just come and see what it was like.
As I listened to Nikki's words, all of a sudden I just felt that there was this voice speaking to me, and it wasn't Nikki. And the subject of his talk was, why did Jesus die? And even though I went to church as a young man, I never considered why he died or what was the real meaning of it. But the words that I heard spoken to me were, why did I die? I died so that you could have a second chance at life.
It's really amazing to see how God is using Alpha. Not only are individuals being transformed, but so are entire churches. And those churches are networking together, sharing a vision for transforming society as a whole by demonstrating Christ's love in their local communities.
Our motto is one life, one church, one community transformed and touched by God. And that's what Alpha does. We are now seeing churches from all sizes come together. We are seeing churches of all ethnicities come together. And we are doing so in an effort to reach out to the entire community and say, come and see. Come see what's taking place. And it is exciting to see what God is doing by pulling together different ministries. And He is doing so with Alpha at the heart of it in many ways.
The reason that I'm so actively involved in Alpha is because it's just tough to find a way to be involved with God's work with such power as what Alpha does. I've never thought of myself as being an evangelist or very good at bringing people to Christ, but I love the opportunity to be involved in watching people discover Jesus.
Looking back at how volatile my marriage was and how divorce was just a word that we threw around like swords at each other, that's not how my life is now. We recently were baptized as a whole family. We attend the church together. We help on Alpha, all as a family. In fact, we sing in the choir.
Over and over again, whether in churches, homes, college campuses, or even in prisons, God is using Alpha to transform lives with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And every transformation represents a family rebuilt, a church revitalized, and a community renewed. By presenting the gospel in an open, personal, and truly powerful way, Alpha is making a difference.